Cowabunga.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, let's meet the host, Kyle Gagliardi,
The face that runs the place!
Jim Tucker, and Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi, and one of my co-hosts is my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him,
What's going on, Kyle? You and many of the viewers are probably wondering where the title's at. Usually we have a title here that represents the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast WWE Premium Live Event title. You know where the title's at, Kyle? It's on my waist.
Hell yeah!
I was going to say,
Awesome.
let's save it, but Tuck's just going to get right to it.
Good on you, Tuck.
I don't need to flaunt my AEW title, by the way. I am the AEW champion.
That's because we'd all boo you.
That's all right. Tuck, how you doing? You want to
I had
introduce
a
our third co-host?
Had a perfect night at
I already
Hell in a
did.
Cell. And we are joined by @Erica_0328, the beast from the east, some would say.
Yeah.
What's happening,
me.
lady?
Oh, same shit. Tuck, congratulations.
I'm out of breath.
Dude, you know what I think my favorite part about your intro is that stank face you make when you are winding up. It gets me every time. Love it.
To
Feeling
think,
it. Yeah.
to think me and him have been we've been doing that, and he's been making that face for 98 episodes now. It's
I love
pretty
it.
crazy to think about as we are quickly approaching episode 100. The comments
babe.
already checking in. Robbie Collins says, "Hello guys, what a week of wrestling." Yes, a very good week of wrestling indeed. And Dirk Bogus is in the house. Woo!
Dirty
Good
Dirk
evening.
in the cut.
Hi, Mr. Bogus.
The crew is rolling in here. Ryan Vogus, still our MVM, but Tuck, it feels like I just saw you a couple days ago because I did just see you a couple days ago. We had ourselves quite a Sunday, didn't we?
Hell yeah, brother. My weekend started 3 o'clock Pacific time out here in the West Coast. Took a flight to Las Vegas and promptly endured a 3.5-hour flight delay. So I rolled into Chicago 4 a.m. on a Saturday. And then
Nice.
slept for a couple hours, went and got my packet, enjoyed my Saturday to myself. Sunday morning, woke up, Chicago 13.1 half marathon sponsored by Bank of America.
Yeah.
Crushed it. 1 hour, 34 minutes, 57 seconds, 3.5 minute PR. Absolutely smashed it. And then talk about getting smashed. We went axe throwing for 2 hours. Ooh, you had a little bit of a roller coaster of a day at the
Not
axe
good.
throwing place. You were great for a while.
Oh, but please fill me in. I did axe throwing recently, and I think terrible. And I'm man enough
Oh,
to
I'm
admit
terrible
that.
too,
But
Erica. I am terrible.
I think I'm gonna need Vogus's account, but I think it was somewhere around 14 throws in a row that just clanked. It was you had a miserable spurt of time, but we were there for 2 hours. Had a great dinner at Jack and Ginger's. A couple of great hosts. I don't know Jack or Ginger, but the food was fine. And then we made our way to the Allstate Arena for Hell in a Cell, and we were joined by Ryan Vogus, Mike Kubaki, and Tyler Walk, along with my dad. Shout out to my dad. Drove all the way to the Allstate Arena by himself, which is a feat because he hates driving. And I think he enjoyed watching us and enjoy our shenanigans more than the actual show. He was very uncomfortable during the Cody Rhodes Seth Rollins Hell in a Cell match because
Which
of
a lot of
Cody
people
Rhodes'
were.
back.
yeah.
He's like, I don't feel great about watching this. I'm like, no, hey, Cody did it. Everyone would have understood. But man, hell of a weekend. Monday, had time at home, got to see a bunch of family, and then spent some time with a few other friends with Monty's on a Monday. We started at Monty's, a little shit bar. There were 4 of us, and we were the only people in the bar. And when we left at about 11:30, there were like 10 or 11 other people in the bars throwing darts, shooting pool on a Monday evening, maybe rolling in through their day of work. And there was a gentleman that walked into the bar skunk drunk, and he knew that we were brothers. He looked at the 4 of us and he said, "You guys are brothers. You guys have a brotherhood. You guys went to high school together." And we didn't tell him that we didn't, but he had one drink and the bartender cut him off, and then he had a great night after that. So hell of a weekend. Wow.
Yeah, you had yourself a weekend, as did I. Erica, did you partake in any activities this weekend?
Not like that.
Kind of low key compared to that.
Yeah, very low key.
We got a comment rolling in. Vogus saying, Kyle has been a better teammate in other sports than he was for me in axe throwing. That's a fair take. I'm just going to blame it all on the activities that happened with me prior to axe throwing on my skill level there. I was a little fatigued, a little hungover from the bachelor party weekend.
Okay.
So
that does make sense. You weren't prime.
I was not in prime shape.
I was coming off a PR and I still wasn't the best. Yeah.
That's true. You did run a marathon before that, so I guess I don't have too many excuses. But you brought up the fact of people feeling uncomfortable when Cody had his match. We're going to talk about Hell in a Cell, but before we get to that, we got to give a shout out to our website, our merch site, onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. What are some things we're going to find on that website, Tuck? Why don't you look at what Tuck's got, what I got, Erica, your shirt.
Nobody called me.
Do you like black t-shirts? Because we got them. Do you like heather gray t-shirts? Because we got them. Do you like white t-shirts? We got those. Do you like crop top hoodies? We got those. Do we got
like joggers?
Leggings? You want our logo on a coffee mug as you're sipping your morning jolt? We got that too. On the markwrestlingpodcast.com. Great prices, great products. You're gonna love it. Support the brand, people.
We work
hard.
And look who's checking in.
Play hard.
Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Hey, what's up, OTM? What's going on, guys? We're ready to talk about a lot of things. But before we get to that, of course, we got to shout out to the upcoming episode that we have, episode 100, which is 2 shows away. We still are trying to come up with some fun show ideas since this is a monumental occasion.
I'm gonna tell you who we should not get on the show. If we were to get anybody, it's not gonna be Buff Bagwell. Am I right? Because that cameo, I ordered it.
He needs.
I ordered a cameo to roast my 4 competitors in the Hell in a Cell prediction show, and he thought he got the word prediction wrong. He read it like word for word. He redid it, and it was the exact same thing. He was on the struggle bus, and like different room. Yeah, like it was ass. Much respect to Buff Bagwell because Buff is the stuff, or at least he was the stuff. He was not the stuff on that cameo, but
might be expired.
A deal is a deal. So, on top of that, we've got some exciting news with you, Kyle, coming out here for Halloween. Lake Tahoe,
I'll be
West Coast.
Coming to visit. Yeah, that's my first trip to somewhere that's not Las Vegas and Nevada, I should say. I was going to say it's my first time in Nevada, but it's not. But yeah, I'm going to come visit you for Halloween. I'm very much looking forward to that. Flights were pretty cheap. Vogus caught on to a good deal that's going on. So I'll be seeing you in a couple months after SummerSlam, of course. And then a lot of people checking in the comments. Steve said it's that time of the week. Shout out to the terrific trio, OTM, What's Poppin' from the Pigskin Project of OTS.
Brand new whip just hopped in.
Yeah, he is on a different account. We met Buff Bagwell at Bridges. Fun fact. And Robbie Collins says we need to get Adam Cole to do karaoke for episode 100. That is hashtag goals. I guess we could say.
Buff Bagwell about an hour late to that signing, by the way. But we did get to wear his hat.
Oh, there you go.
Like
that's
the hat.
All we got for that. Like the hat. One of the hats. A hat.
Hat.
But before we went live, we were chatting about who Erica would be if she were a wrestler for Halloween. I have chosen John Moxley as my Halloween character.
For me.
No.
What?
Marini would make a great Moxley. Moxolini.
I go full bore.
Yeah.
Shave my head.
So who are you thinking for Erica Marini as a Halloween? Q Vogus in the comment section going, she's a queen, but
Charlotte
probably
Flair.
not Charlotte Flair.
No.
Who do you got?
Kyle? I have someone that I think I would do.
Let's hear it.
Britt Baker.
Oh, solid. I could see it.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
There you go. That's solid. I also have an announcement, guys. I texted you guys this, and we put it on Twitter. We do have an interview coming up. It's not with Adam Cole, but it's one of our friends from Wiffle Ball. Referee Jeremy Telema will be joining the show in July, right before Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series. If you don't know what that is, Warrior Wrestling is an independent company based out of the Chicagoland area. Tuck has actually been to a couple shows, as have I. And I'll tell you what, this Stadium Series, Tuck, is one of the most unique pro wrestling experiences you can get.
One of the blessings to come out of the pandemic, they were looking to put on a show and they found a football field. They said, bring your own drinks, bring your own food, bring your own chairs, and let's have some graps. And it was like, with that open, you got to be as far or as close to kind of people as you wanted to. Great views all over the place. It was an awesome experience and a great card. Warrior Wrestling puts on some really good cards, so that should be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of shows, Kyle, Forbidden Door. Yeah, me and Ryan Vogus are supposed to go to Forbidden Door, meet up with Erica Marini down below. She definitely will be going. Having some ticket issues right now. It will not transfer over from StubHub to Ticketmaster.
I think
and what
Kyle
StubHub has told me, told me you have to wait until 24 hours before because of how much, volume is going on their site right now. That's what I've been told.
You have to wait until 24 hours before the show
to get help.
No.
Yes. This is from their verified account. I mean,
Kyle's going to get fucked. Kyle's going to get fucked.
I'm not dancing because
Kyle's going to get fucked. But you can't.
It's just catchy.
Vibes are vibes.
Erica will for sure be there, though. No issues with your tickets, right?
No, I hope fucking not.
Okay.
They're just real high.
Let's start off and talk a little bit about Hell in a Cell that obviously happened on Sunday. Erica, I'll go to you first because the show opened up with a banger for the Raw Women's Championship match as Bianca Belair retained her title against Asuka and against
Did you say
Becky
title?
Lynch. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're showing it. I didn't see that. I don't watch you when I'm talking. They gave these women a lot of time, Erica, which I thought was nice. And I would say they over-delivered. What were your overall thoughts here with this opener at Hell in a Cell?
I don't think I thought anything bad would have come from this match. And I feel like every time, especially these three, could do no wrong. And I think Sunday was just another example of that. I think acknowledge Tuck. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Yeah, you do get distracted by the comments.
I do. I should just click.
I don't know how you don't have access to the comments. I mean,
it's for the best. No, I love this match. They kicked ass like I knew they would. It was awesome. And I appreciate the ending. I just leaves it open, which I don't like things ending. So they
definitely did. And I thought the timing in this match, Tuck, was really good. And the crowd seemed to be really into it as well.
I have a lot of faith in the WWE in triple threats. They've got the 3-person dance down to a good formula, and I don't think the match over delivered. I think it adequately delivered based on who was in the match. It was a great match, outstanding opener. My dad was a little taken aback when he compared that women's wrestling to the wrestling of 2001. He's like,
broad panty matches don't really compare to that.
Yeah.
He's like, these women can they kind of go. I'm like, yeah, yeah, they do that a little bit. He was very impressed with Bianca Belair, almost scared of her. So it was a great match. And I think the right 1-1, right?
Yeah.
And this is a match I think we all picked Bianca Belair to retain, correct?
Sweet.
And the way, like you said, the ending leaves things open for the future. And obviously, as you saw on Monday Night Raw, which we will touch a little bit on Monday Night Raw, the Becky and Asuka situation is definitely not over with. So Bianca retains. She's got a future ahead of her. We know her opponent is going to be Rhea Ripley at Money in the Bank. But for me, guys, I mean, in-ring wrestling, this was the match of the night.
Like Robbie said, it started off the right way. I think it started, I don't know if he means it started the night off the right way, but that's what, now you just said that and it made me think that. I think, it hit the whole night off on the right foot.
Yeah, and Vogus said that was the second best women's match I've probably ever seen live. He saw Sasha and Bianca at Mania a couple of years ago.
Brag.
Yeah, that's a tough match to follow seeing live right there, because that was one of the best matches at WrestleMania, at least for the women's side of things. So we don't really need to get into this match that much because there wasn't really much to it, but Bobby Lashley defeated MVP and Omos with a little help from Cedric Alexander. My biggest takeaway, Tuck, from being in the live audience was that the crowd actually was really into this match, and it seems like Bobby Lashley has become one of the top baby faces in the company.
Yeah, surprisingly, that was my merch match that I had picked out, where I got my Seth freaking Rollins t-shirt. So now Erica and I are twinning. JTuck65 got a Roman Reigns t-shirt because he is God mode. He is greatness on a different level. He produced me. Shout out to my dad. But the Chicago crowd was horny like all night. They just kept going and going. It was they were like rabid dogs in there. And Bobby, I thought, kind of got overpushed by the crowd and oversold. The first of many times that I noticeably jumped because of the pyro. And Kyle is now frozen with a stone face on. Oh, there he is. He's back. So it was a great match, but the crowd, I thought, was like overhyped. I could hear him while I was in line for merch, like the whole time.
And I have to say, I was surprised too, because I mean, whatever. The pop for Lashley, and it just kept like coming, and I was just happy for him because I hate when people get hit with silence or like, people don't give a shit. I liked it, but I was also very surprised because I didn't expect it, but I don't know.
And then he held, I don't know if they showed it on TV, Erica, but he grabbed a replica title, WWE title from the crowd that somebody had, and he was signaling that was next for him. So maybe Bobby has higher aspirations here going up the card and going after Roman Reigns. We'll find out. But Robbie asked a good question in the comments. What's next for Omos? He loses his handicap match with MVP. I mean, there's really not much left, is there?
I couldn't book him.
I think we've all stated our opinion on Omos. None of us are really big on him. And there's, like you said, I don't think I could book him either. Tuck, is there any ideas you have for Omos? Is he kind of just in no man's land right now?
They're going to have to find someone that he can punk around, or maybe they put him on a squash tour again to try to build him back up. He's got to tread water. But as Vogus says, big, meaty men bumping meat is never over popped. Vogus was strapped into his seat, ready to rock for that one.
I bet he needed to be strapped.
No doubt. He needed to be fanned. That's why we got out of the road.
Talk about a horny Chicago crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, he was ready for that. And Bobby's entrance is awesome. It's one of the best things right now.
And he like feels himself coming out too. And I love that. I feel like it's been like more noticeable lately that like he's just like into it and like knows who the hell he is. So
he's got that glow,
Go off, King. Yeah.
Bobby Lashley is hitting different.
His monologue on Raw was good too. It didn't feel like cadenced and scripted.
Yeah.
He definitely had points that he was trying to hit and stumbled over a word or two. But this time he was just kind of working instead of like, these are the words that I have to say. And I am Bobby Lashley.
I don't like you.
I'm going to go for that championship.
Yeah.
Guys.
No, me or Natalia, bitch.
It's good to see that side of Bobby Lashley because he's starting to really become one of the, like I said, the top baby faces in the company. But after that, Kevin Owens defeated Ezekiel. There was nothing really wrong with this match, I would say. It didn't wow me by any means, but of course, this obviously had to be on the card. The storyline has been very entertaining. KO goes over, and then on Monday Night Raw, Ezekiel kind of admits that he is Elias. I mean, it's still entertaining, but Kevin Owens winning, right decision, right, Erica?
Correct. I'm happy for it. And then I was happy that on Raw, because then I think, okay, what about Ezekiel? And then I was happy on Raw that he kind of got him with that like little zinger at the end. And he's like, I took after you. I lied. My name's really Ezekiel. And then just like Kevin Owens plays into it like so well that it's just entertaining, and I could watch like another month of it. But
I'm assuming Vogus is alluding to Omos there.
Oh God, I hope he's wrong.
He's probably right.
Vogus, for the listeners on the podcast version, said that Omos will tread water in the tag division until the Rumble, where he breaks the elimination record. ass.
Yeah.
But that was Vogus during our Royal Rumble at axe throwing, breaking the elimination record. He went off.
Damn.
It was true. We made a little mini game Rumble style there for the axe throwing. But yeah, any other thoughts though from that match, Tuck? Not really anything special, right?
No, wasn't a bad match.
No.
It just happened, and gave a little more substance to the card.
Nothing really felt out of place too on this card. Like everything flowed very well, and I thought from top to bottom it was a very solid show, including this match when the Judgment Day defeated Styles, Balor, and Liv Morgan. I really enjoyed this 6-person tag. I think it came off good in the live audience, Erica. We expected this match to be good. Did it come off as good as it felt in live and in person?
It did. I did hate that when I think it was the first time that Liv and Rhea got tagged in, that the crowd was just kind of like, meh. And I hated that because it's like, come on. Another thing I didn't like, and I'm just being nitpicky, I didn't care for Rhea in the purple. But now I noticed that like once a week, one of all of them wear purple. So it was just odd.
She also tweeted and said her gear for Hell in a Cell did not show up. So she improvised that look.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And Bogus mentioned something about, he's like, that it looks kind of funky, like an old look or something like that. And
it's
that is confirmed. Bogus did turn Kyle into a gear guy. She was not wearing the trademark. Wait, no, Bianca didn't wear the trademark pants.
And then I noticed the Rhea wasn't wearing the pants. Yeah, and then
Kyle put his horny hat on the rest of the night. Yeah,
I was looking at the guys. I was looking at Ali's gear
right,
too.
dude.
For the record, I noticed Ali's Chicago flag that he had. It wasn't just the females gear.
Yeah,
for the
I
record.
noticed his dick.
Yeah,
that was a funny thing though. Clark Street said KO screaming Elias during the entire match was so entertaining. I mean, yeah, that was another good thing that came for that match. But Tuck, this 6-person mixed tag, Judgment Day goes over at this point. Another good match here at Hell in the Cell, right?
Yeah, and it was cool for me to see the Tron with the wings on it. I love that. Interesting with the situation that happened on Raw because of, in lieu of that. But my dad was also impressed with Edge still being alive and wrestling because he knew Edge many, many years ago. But it was a good match. I mean, you put those 6 in a ring, you're probably gonna get something all right,
A lot of talent.
I have one more complaint, and that was Edge's hair. At one point, I said he looked like Beaker from the Muppets. And then I think I saw someone tweet that like like the broski bandanas that had like the hair. It looked like that also. I like mine better.
It's a good way to get blocked.
Those are my 3 complaints. That's it.
It's a good way to get blocked on. Through that.
Yeah.
Liv in the Bank. Thoughts on that? Liv Morgan potentially winning Money in the Bank?
Nope.
I think no. Okay.
Oh, talk that down very quick. You're saying no too?
She's not strong enough.
I disagree.
No, the people like her because she's hot, but what does she do?
I don't think that's the main appeal. The gimmick obviously is not strong, but I think her in-ring has gotten very good over the past couple of years.
I think her in-ring has gotten better. I think the fans are super adoring of her, and I think that goes both ways, and you could tell that she loves it. Like she loves this business. And I was telling when I was watching this on Sunday, there's this girl that we all follow on Twitter, and like Liv made it a point to like when this girl was coming in town for like a pay-per-view that like she picked her up at the airport, and like the girl tweeted, she's like, we're in the middle of wherever, Liv gets out of the door, leaves her driver's side door open, runs to come pick me up. Like she's just as like crazy and spazzy as you'd expect her to be in real life, and she's sweet, and I think she has that like connection with her fans. I don't know, I think she just wants it so bad that like I don't think I'd be mad if I would want her to cash in and be successful. Can I picture her as like the women's champion? No, but I think we also have like a whole year for it to happen maybe.
I love teaching, but I wasn't teacher of the year, you know what I mean?
Well, duh.
And as Robbie, wow. Thanks for that. I didn't know Erica was turning heel today. Robbie says, "Is that not down to the booking? She's getting tucked. It is. That's why she's not going to win. We
have a whole year to build
why
her.
you don't like, or why you don't take Liv seriously, I think is why he's asking.
At this point, Money in the Bank's at a month.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, and with Vogus, I agree.
Vogus said Liv will never get a real chance until she has a character.
I wish I liked when, I hated when she came back with the whole Lana angle. I liked when there was talk of her being like what Alexa Bliss ended up being to Bray. I think they could have done it totally different and had her been more submissive to Bray and have her kind of play that like Harley Quinn, like psycho. And then I feel like they kind of like, yeah, now it's just her and there's nothing wrong with her, but there's got to be that extra like oomph behind it.
But
and
there's nothing special about her right now.
Yeah.
Well,
other than
can I ask you guys this question too?
Yeah.
Did you, when you saw Nikki ASH, did you say, "Oh, I think she's a champion"? Because she ended up being Raw Women's Champion.
Yeah, but and now
saying,
she accompanies Doudrop to the ring.
Yeah.
You know,
and I'm not saying Liv, should be a multiple-time women's champion, but I think if they give her just this one chance, maybe there's something you can catch fire here.
Yeah.
Not Alpha Fire in NXT though. Trust me, I watch her character, trust me, I watch her, but that ain't a character. Yeah, that's what
she needs something.
Asks.
She needs to be like Twisted.
Is that a horny vote?
Madcap Moss defeated Baron Corbin, or Happy Corbin, I should say, at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah,
this was solid. The match was okay. Madcap, I think, is finally going to be able to move on, and it seems like, Tuck, that they kind of are backing Madcap Moss. He's gotten a lot of wins recently over Happy Corbin.
Erica, any regrets about this match?
That I obviously don't want the product. That's the first thing I said when I saw Corbin win. I was like, I just don't watch the product. This is why I should tune in. Listen, talk about, I don't know. I don't want to be a naysayer. Tuck, he asked you. You go.
What did he ask me?
I don't know about booking Madcap.
I'm in. It's got to be more than his character needs work too. It's got to be more than I'm serious now, and the suspenders are gone. Let's wrestle.
The crowd. Yeah, that's all he does.
Yeah.
No, he's shredded. He's shredded. He's a good-looking fella. Shout out to those pecs and those lats and delts and muscles and oil. Gosh, he's great. But he needs a character too. And that was a good start, like a good step. But like, why do I care about Madcap Moss or Madcap or Moose or whatever it is? I don't know why I care yet. But he's in that middle ground. So
like, we know he could go. His in-ring ain't bad. He's put on good matches. It's like what you talked about, the character. It's not like, if you're talking about potential Money in the Bank winners, there's no way Madcap Moss is a Money in the Bank winner. He's just not there yet. At least Liv has done a few things to like get to
he could add to the match. He would be good in the match. I
agree.
I could see him having great spots, but I don't consider him a serious threat if he's in there.
And what do you think it would take? Like, I guess my default is I always think that something has to happen. Just hear me out. Like, oh, Corbin is so, maybe not Corbin, but like, Corbin is so mad at him for beating him 5 times, and he attacks him. Tanya Harding's him. Now he's out for a month, and now he comes back. It's this totally badass guy, and it's this and that, and he plows through the men's division and this and that. Like, I don't see him getting over like the way he is right now. And like, I agree with you and Bogus and Kyle that his character needs something, but I don't know that it's gonna like happen like right before our eyes. I feel like he needs to something needs to happen. I will give him as many seconds as I want to.
Yeah, Bogus said he's only had one feud so far. Give him a sec.
And you know what? And it's not his fault that it's Baron Corbin feuds that last forever.
That is true. Every Corbin feud is just strung out between 4 different pay-per-views.
And I have to be honest, not to keep jumping, but when they were talking on Raw about Judgment Day having a new person, I was like stoned and I was just trying to think, and I was like, let it be Baron Corbin. Like, who gives a shit? Let him be something that like he doesn't need to talk. I'd be fine with it. Like, he needs something to be like taken seriously. I don't know.
Just go back to being bum ass Baron Corbin. You're going to Las Vegas in a couple of weeks. You've lost consecutive matches.
Oh,
go
God,
back to that.
Go back to it.
And then you can build up after that as well. Like his character work is very strong. I will give him that, and he is a solid match. It's just I don't know where we go from here. So maybe he's down on his luck. Yeah. So we got 2 more matches to talk about here at Hell in a Cell. We had the United States Championship match where Theory retained against Ali. This was another match where the crowd was very hot for it, and rightfully so, with the hometown guy and Ali in this title match, which was another good one. We had another good match here between these two. I still would have liked to seen Ali get the win, especially in Chicago. And then, like I said in the past episode, you could have had him lose on Monday Night Raw, and then you can give it right back to Theory. But, I mean, the chemistry between these two is very strong. I don't think Ali is going to be probably featured on TV much after this, which kind of sucks. But now that Theory retains, they're kind of teasing maybe a potential John Cena match down the line. How do we feel about that one, guys?
Why do you say that Ali's not going to be? The poor guy asked.
He went straight to main event next. I mean, he even tweeted it out. He's like, main event Ali is back, and they didn't even talk about it on Monday Night Raw.
That's just really too bad. Sometimes WWE has people that they just do not deserve.
Fair.
You LOLing at?
I don't know. Maybe it's a comment. Robbie Collins said, Theory has become my favorite now. He's such a good character, and he's also good on the mic. And Steve says, I wonder what happens to Madcap after the Corbin feud. That's the feud that breaks him away. But WWE don't always have the follow-up plans in place, which is a very good point. Hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle. And Vogus said, I bet Ali gets his release finally by the end of the year. Yeah, that's where I think this is headed, Tuck. But overall, what did you think about this match here?
Can I just say one thing?
Yes. I will not.
I saw Austin Theory's face during this match. I forgot all about the face that looked like the Fiend mask. And it's all that I see. And now I still like Austin Theory a lot, but when he opens his mouth or he smiles, I hate the both of you. I have to go. I can't
He's still
I don't like it. Doug.
If you want to see the Austin Theory face, you have to watch on YouTube or watch live, people. That's
my eyes are watering.
I will not let you in.
I thought.
Doug, what do you think?
I thought this match was good. I thought this was going to be one of the better matches of the night, and it proved to be. I might have been one of 6 people that was actually cheering for Theory in the building. I needed this match in a bad way. Yeah, and I was trying to shoosh everyone and quiet them down to no avail. The crowd was hot for this one, but it was a good match. But again, I think they brought Ali in to keep some guys warm, and then we'll see you later. Ali's not going to stay with the company. He's out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Another take from our live experience, Tuck. I thought our section was very weak compared to the rest of the crowd when it came to cheering. Didn't you think so?
I feel like that's always my luck too.
We were working, and I started a chant that got nowhere, and then 3 seconds later, that same exact chant just blew up around the arena. Like, what the hell? No respect. You and the young prince that was 5 seats down from us, working your ass off during the KO and Ezekiel match. The young prince with grandma and grandpa working his butt off. He was into it. Grandma and grandpa, no hype. You know what I mean? No. If we're bringing the kid to the show, we gotta show him the ropes as well.
Get into it. Just enjoy the show. I had 2 people in front of me that were a boy and a girl, probably in their teenage years, didn't say a thing the entire show. Just sat like this, Erica.
I don't even think they held hands. That was a little funky. And then here comes
the movies.
One subtle criticism of JTuck 65. He wasn't bouncing off the walls either. So shout out to him for making the drive safely. But Dad, we're gonna need a little more energy. You know what I mean? You're holding it down.
He's not used to the product, He
put his energy into that drive for you.
Yeah,
that's true, and I got to drive us home, so that was awesome.
Tuck was doing a Chad Gable throughout that entire Theory match.
Many shoes throughout the night.
Girl behind us screeching should have been.
Oh my God, I had one of those at Grand Slam too.
I thought it was just going to be a Bianca Belair thing because she was red hot during the Bianca Belair match, and I thought it was going to fade out. Did not. Her foot was on the gas pedal all night. A little bit of respect, but a little bit of frustration with that as well.
There's got to be a shade of
she was working, but if your voice is going to sound like fucking sandpaper, out. And she was in a tough spot.
But see, I have to say, if I had a good shouting voice, that would be me. I know that I don't, so I do not.
I've seen you at an event. You're quiet as a church mouse.
Yes, because I don't have a good shouting voice, and So then I started to take my beer cup and then I hold it against my mouth and then I say things. I'm not gonna say, but like I learned that trick, so that helps. What?
Robbie Collins has a new profile picture. Oh man,
he could. What he should do is make this his profile picture.
Oh, look at that!
How about that? How about that?
He's showing off the gold more than Heel Liarda did. Are we sure that's not a heel? What kind of baby face is it? He's just shoving the title down. You know,
he's like a Miz.
He is giving him the chance to screenshot it, though. He is giving him a good.
Take it, Robbie.
Let's get into this main event because this had a lot of people talking, and there was a lot of rumors going around during the day on Sunday on if Cody would even compete after hearing that he completely tore his pectoral muscle. The injury itself looked pretty bad, but I've listened to a few podcasts since then, and Busted Open even had a doctor on, and they said that there was no possible way that he could have further injured this pec injury. So it basically was at the worst it could have ever gotten. So him going into the match really didn't risk anything being, worsened with the pectoral muscle. So I get it from that standpoint. But a lot of people are asking, why did WWE even allow Cody Rhodes to compete? As we heard after the show went off air, Tuck, he addressed us and he said that it was his decision. He wanted to be here. There was no way 10 times out of 10 he was going to compete in this match. So before we even get into the match itself, the fact that Cody Rhodes made the decision to perform here in the main event, a card where he was the center of attention, he was put on the poster for Hell in a Cell, just speaks volumes of this man's character, not his on-screen character, but his real life character and his will to provide entertainment for the WWE universe. Talk. I mean, just an admirable performance here from Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. If you tear it off the bone, what else are you going to do to it? It's just a floating, slab of meat in there. You know what I mean? I think they'd be more inclined to keep him on the shelf if it was still that like strong partial tear, so that he wouldn't risk tearing it. It was already torn. It was already blown. And again, there had to have been some medical guidance along the way saying it's not going to get better tonight, but it's not going to get worse. So exactly, an incredible performance. I felt guilty for watching at times. That's when the reality of pain and injury comes into play. We know their job's never easy, but you're going to go in there with a fully torn pec. Like I stubbed my toe. I had a dot of blood in my shoe from a half shank toenail. I compared it to the Kurt Schilling bloody sock game. You know what I mean? He had a fully torn pec. Unbelievable.
You guys are.
Yeah. And Erica, the first 5 minutes of the match, the live crowd was, I think, kind of in awe and in shock when he slowly revealed that injury. Could you kind of sense that when watching Hell in a Cell, that the crowd was kind of taken by it?
Almost like you all like collectively like took a breath, like what? And even us watching, we're like this, wait, is that makeup? Because I saw after the fact, I don't follow him on social media. So I saw like the progression that he posted on his stories of like when it started like this, and then it was like this, and then that. It's a big deal when your parents, or my parents anyway, both tell you about, oh yeah, Cody Rhodes, yeah, like people are going nuts for his performance. Like it made like mainstream media news. And I think it speaks volumes of who he is, yes, as like a person outside of the ring, but who he is as a performer. And I also think that he had so much. Do I think he would have done it anyway? Yes. I also think he had a lot of eyes on him. He took that chance to leave AEW. There was no way he was going to take that injury. If he was able to perform, he was going to, and he was not going to take it lying down. And he went out there and he gained all of our respect, whether he had it already or not. And see, I can't. Bogus, are you talking about Cody?
Talking through it. Yeah, Bogus is saying, and I was kind of going to bring this up too. He said, bold take. This is the best thing that could have happened for his character. He would have been turned on soon, and now he's a made man in WWE.
Yeah.
And here's my question. If he's in AEW, fully tears his pec, and he's supposed to main event, does he do it?
Probably, because it's Cody Rhodes.
He might, but I don't think this as an insult. Even if he did, I don't think the crowd would appreciate the way that WWE.
I was going to say that. I think AEW would be like, all right, anybody else would have done that, but what you look at it through the WWE goggles, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would just been another guy in AEW.
A traditional AEW fan would have found a way to weaponize that about why AEW is better. It's not necessarily better. That's not an informed decision. Cody went on the record and say, like, I don't advise doing that. It's not a great decision. But when my face is on the seat that you're putting your ass on, I'm doing the main event. If you're going to put your ass on my face, I'm going to put my fully torn pec in that cell.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's fair trade.
And Robbie's basically taking the words out of my mouth. He said, Rhodes has my highest respect, shows what a character he is.
It's true.
And honestly, it wasn't the actual in-ring stuff that happened in this match, but the story and how that injury played into it, that, in my opinion, made this one of the most compelling and best Hell in the Cell matches that we've gotten. I mean, the fact that, he even went out there and Seth wasn't afraid to attack that injury. Like, they played that into the storyline when having this match. And credit to Seth Rollins as well, because it takes two to tango here in professional wrestling. And he's got to find ways to protect Cody Rhodes even more now that he's going in there with that serious of an injury. And those two put together some magic. And honestly, man, that was, like I said, one of the greatest Hell in the Cell matches I've ever seen.
And I'm glad that you're learning. Sorry.
Of all time.
Yeah. I'm happy because I didn't know that they said there wasn't any more damage to be done, which makes me feel slightly better about the shit that Seth pulled on Raw. I was like, maybe he just hit him like below it. And then like they showed like the replay and I was like, damn it, Seth.
Yeah, so Robbie proposed this question. I have one problem. How many times are you going to make Rollins lose? Top talent getting beat 3 times in a row. Tuck, I think Seth Rollins is one of the few guys that really doesn't get hurt by losses, because that's already a made man in WWE that has accomplished everything.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, and again, he lost this feud in over 3 months and 3 matches. He lost this feud with this one guy, but now it gives him an opportunity to reinvent himself as well. When Cody comes back, I want to see Cody and Seth again. When Cody comes back now. And like Vogus said, Seth can't be viewed as the unsafe worker anymore. He was the other half in 3 great matches between him and Cody.
Honestly, in this match, he was probably 70% of it. Well,
yeah, and even down to wearing Dusty Rhodes attire, and it was speculated that the polka dot attire was made to make Dusty look like an idiot. You know what I mean? That he didn't choose to wear that attire. And that is the attire that Seth Rollins chose to wear. So many Easter eggs in the match, bells and whistles, even the weight belt that was emblazoned with the Seth Rollins phrase on it. There's just so many chef's kisses to go around. Him putting on the American Nightmare jacket and just beating the shit out of Cody.
Great heel.
That match was 25 minutes. It could have been a 5-minute squash. We would have understood. But for Cody, I got nervous when I heard the Cody announcement because of, now he's got a fully torn pec. How the heck is he going to win this match? There goes my PLE title, but he still won. You know what I mean? He's bulletproof. So now Seth has to go to the drawing board, reinvent himself, and we'll probably get a 4th rematch that we'll look forward to, which is something we rarely say. Yeah. I can't wait to see these guys fight a 4th time.
Before we get to the comments, Erica, where does this sit on your favorite Hell in the Cell matches of all time?
I mean, I really can't think of any others right now. Oh no, Sasha and Becky. I loved that one a lot. It's up there.
Yeah.
And I think it, like Tuck said, it could have been a 5-minute squash and we all would have understood. So I don't know what I was really putting into this match. I wasn't sure like what to expect. And then just as it kept going and seeing the things that they were doing, I was just blown away. And if for nothing else, the respect is, out of this world.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get to some comments and then we'll give our grade for Hell in the Cell. Steve from the Wrestling Channel asks, from personal experience, what's it like watching a Hell in the Cell match live? Is it easy to see what's going on inside? He's never had the pleasure of seeing one live himself. Tuck, I would say very enjoyable experience, and I thought it was very easy to see inside that ring.
I think Vogus and I talked about this at the Allstate that although it's a huge structure and you have the thick columns binding the patches of cage together, it was actually very easy to see into. And it may be because we were far enough away where the fence almost blended into as like a light screen to it. If the arena was draped in a red light, I would have thrown up though. So credit and shout out to the people that survived those Hell in a Cell matches. But I thought the Hell in a Cell, I thought it was a good experience and I was nervous about what it would look like live as well. War Games, I think, was tougher to figure out than the Hell in a Cell, actually, in my opinion.
If you're looking to go to a Hell in a Cell and you're worried about that, do it, because it was good for us and we were able to see all that happened. Clark Street said Seth Rollins built up his character to a point where he eats losses for breakfast. True. Exactly. And Vogus said that Uso's New Day Hell in a Cell is top 3 for him. It's not top 3 for me. I would probably say that Sasha and Bayley would be up there for me. And then I actually answered this question on Steve's wrestling channel, so make sure you subscribe there. The end of an era, Triple H versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 28, I believe it was my favorite Hell in a Cell match. But I think this Cody and Seth was probably number 2, just with all that happened here with the injury. And like Vogus said, Cody finally hitting the pedigree on Triple H protege was chef's kiss as well. And Robbie, we will get to Monday Night Raw, so I'm going to hold off on that comment, actually. So, Tuck, I'll go to you first. Overall grade for Hell in a Cell, what would you give it?
An 88 out of 100. That's going to be good enough for a B+ in my book.
Yeah.
Erica?
Yeah, like a 9.
Okay, so A-.
Out of 100.
I agree with Tuck. I was going to say B+. I thought it was a very enjoyable show.
Yeah.
Everything made sense to me, and storylines progressed, some ended, and overall, I was very entertained. So, yeah, I'll give it. Go ahead.
It was a pretty good card. There wasn't a lot. If there was one more like over the top, like oh my god match, maybe another Hell in a Cell. Put the 3 ladies in the Hell in a Cell and have that same match. Probably would have been, 5-star, A whatever pay-per-view, but it was really good. And I felt like the ticket was worth the price of admission. $19 for a Topo Chico seltzer is kind of ass in my opinion, but that's the price you pay for a good time in Chicago, I guess. Cheaper in Las Vegas.
Robbie Collins said A for him. Women's triple threat made it for him. Yeah, women's triple threat was awesome. Vogus said the show was bookended by match of the year contenders. A for me. Yeah, I would definitely agree that the opener and the main event were definitely match of the year contenders. So going back to Robbie's comment when he said, I absolutely love that Rollins attack on Raw. Let's get to Monday Night Raw. And basically that opening segment was between Cody Rhodes, who opened up the show, to discuss that injury and what was next for him. And Seth Rollins would end up coming out there to address Cody and explained how he earned his respect last night at Hell in a Cell. And we thought, oh, they're going to have a genuine moment here in the ring, and then we're going to move on and go our separate ways. Only to end up being attacked by Seth Rollins when Cody was about to get to the back room. And he targeted that injury. Essentially, Erica, I would assume, writing him off TV. You talked about how you're not as mad now that he attacked that injury on Monday Night Raw, knowing that information. But would you agree that this is probably the case here, that they're writing off Cody with this attack?
Sure. And I think, like Tuck said, I also hope that they go for a 4th time, and we don't often say that. And I think this was I remember I was a couple seconds or a couple minutes behind on Raw, and I made the dumb mistake of going on Twitter, and I saw somebody tweet that was like, damn it, Seth. Seth went from top baby face to back to being like, top heel in 3 seconds. But meanwhile, I'm watching and I just see Seth in the ring. So I'm like, this bitch, like, what's he about to do? So I just like really appreciated and respected like how it went, like that, and even Cody's face was like surprised, like, oh, okay.
That was probably
like,
a real moment there.
Cool, like, whatever. And then like to have that all happen, like, I just think it's just not old yet. And I think maybe because they are putting on such great matches together. So I think it is a good write-off for Cody. And then when he comes back, he's already have that seed planted with Seth, and just take it from there.
Well, I'll use Robbie Collins' question to ask you this, Tuck. So if Cody is being written off, what would you do with Seth Rollins? I think he'd be a prime candidate for Money in the Bank, don't you?
I was just and I'm kind of hoping that seeing as I'll be there, but For the Raw, like he comes out, he's a baby face, shakes his hand. I go, smart. Oh, okay, I get it. And then he comes out from the back and attacks Cody, and I go, smart, I get it. And then with stuff that happens later in the show, that's not smart. I get like a lot of like, okay, oh, all right. Like it feels like I should keep watching this show and not just fall asleep during the commercial break. This is a 3-hour show that I feel like watching. And now we're going to go 7.5 to 8 years for the next Raw to be good. So looking forward to that.
And aren't you glad that you got that Seth Rollins shirt?
Absolutely. And I loved your response. I sent a Hell in a Cell red aura'd picture of it in my lap, and she was like, "You did not."
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, does this mean what I think it does?
Oh, I did.
It does.
And I will be wearing that. I'll be wearing that to Money in the Bank. Mister will be wearing a Bianca Belair shirt.
Hello.
I
will wear that to Money in the Bank as in solidarity.
There we
Makes
go.
sense. Tuck, I had the same thought process too, though, when I saw Seth come out and like show respect to Cody. I was like, Cody's gonna be gone for a while. We need to replace somebody as the top babyface on Monday Night Raw. And I think that was the majority of what we were thinking. And it made sense. And then the attack, it's like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing.
Oh yeah, I get that too. I mean, okay,
yeah.
Cool, yeah.
Raw was fantastic this week. I agree with
whatever Seth does, gonna be pretty good. Whatever he does, gonna be pretty good. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. He is he's great.
So I actually had a point too that I was going to say that Cody, when he does return, is going to be one of the biggest baby faces that the WWE has had in the past decade, maybe 2 decades. And Steve's saying right here, he can already sense Cody is number 30 in the Rumble, and then he's going into Mania, perhaps eliminating Seth last from the Rumble. And hypothetically thinking maybe Seth wins Money in the Bank, cashes in on one of Roman's titles to get that revenge since he lost at Royal Rumble. He holds that all the way to WrestleMania. Cody wins the Royal Rumble.
He won at the Royal Rumble, but didn't
that is
get
true.
the belt.
But so he's still getting that revenge by getting the title. So I definitely could see that being a story, and I'm very excited to see what happens when Cody does return.
To Steve's point, if Cody does come in at 30, as soon as number 29 walks out, they got to start hitting the pyro. Just a minute and a half, 3 minutes of just get him going.
When he came out, Eric, I did that too because he had so much pyro.
we were yeah, it was a great time.
It was, and that was a great opening segment there on Monday Night Raw. So let's transition over to something that it's got Twitter talking, and it's Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was in the 24/7 title scene this week on Monday Night Raw.
Just for what it's worth.
Okay, so I'll direct it towards Tuck. This is something that people are kind of split on here. What's your take on this whole situation, Tuck? Because a lot of people are like, it's Becky Lynch, one of the greatest women's superstars of all time. Why is she being featured in the 24/7 title scene? Do you care to explain, or do you hate it as well?
I do care to explain. Becky Lynch is going crazy. She's gone mad. She wants gold, and at this point, she doesn't care what kind of gold it is. Even if it's a 24/7 championship, she's going to do whatever it takes. I think it's another layer to her, oh shit, I'm going crazy character. It's not a joke, right? She didn't win the 24/7 title. And I think that was intentional as well. You know what? Now I want that title. I didn't think I was going to have that opportunity. I want it now. I want it now. I want that. I want the shot. She became obsessed with it to a point where it ended up making her lose the match. And I do think, as Robbie said, that would have given the 24/7 title a little bit of credibility. Not that I care if it has it, but I think, to me, it was more of, Becky Lynch is going crazy, and she'll take any kind of title. If she would take the FTW title if it was presented to her. She doesn't care. She wants to be a champion.
Who will stop the path of Lynch?
The path of Becky Lynch.
Tuck, I had the same exact thought process because I see a lot of people, and I think the reason they have these negative thoughts is just of how the 24/7 title has been treated ever since it debuted, which is a fair take, but this fits into the spiraling out of control of Becky Lynch. Like, that's the story they're trying to tell here. It makes complete sense to me. And I think even I wanted her to win that title. I wanted her to flaunt that belt around, saying, no one's going to take this championship from me. I am the man. I am big time Becky Lynch.
Then get schoolboyed by R-Truth and make it worse.
That would be so good. Erica, you'd be in for that, right? That's good shit.
I would. I gotta say, when I started seeing the tweets about her, and I don't know what I was doing. Honestly, I think I was just too far gone. I've already told you, boys, it's been a week. But I was like, it just makes sense. And to touch on what Robbie said, I completely agree. It could be like a way to give it a little bit of more respect, to have somebody like, not take away from anybody that's already held it, but to have somebody like current Becky Lynch vying for it and potentially holding it, and to then add the angle, like Tuck said, of her just sort of spiraling and just wanting to have some sort of, championship around her waist. Like, honestly, I'm not the biggest Becky. Can you even hear me?
Yeah.
Am I echoing? Yeah. Both my AirPods died.
No, you're good.
You sound great.
Thank you. I like it. I forgot what you asked me, but I like it.
No, that's exactly what I asked. And Steve said, Tucky speaking words of wisdom. It is the perfect story for Becky right now. And Robbie, that would have been funny. He said it would have been funny if Becky won it and then Seth took it from her. Ryan Vogus said, I barely go to Twitter anymore, and it's fantastic for your enjoyment of the product. I just do it because I like Twitter.
I literally am just wrestling Twitter.
Yeah, that's probably.
And I love like lurking in the shadows of wrestling Twitter. It's just so satisfying.
It might be the most toxic Twitter, though, is wrestling Twitter.
It is. But
it's not for everybody.
It's not.
It should come with a warning.
It's not for the thin skin. That's why I don't tweet. I'll murder somebody in real life if they talk to me. But otherwise, it's very entertaining. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about this. The big story from Monday was the Judgment Day. They came out to address the WWE Universe after their win on Sunday. And then they revealed their newest member. Finn Balor came out with his entrance and all. And at first, it seemed as if the Judgment Day would now just be the group of four, with Finn Balor included with Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, and Edge, until they explained there's a weak link, guys. And that weak link is the man who pinned Finn Balor to win the match at Hell in a Cell. And that was Edge, because Damian Priest would blindside Edge, essentially writing him off TV for a little bit, booting him from the Judgment Day. And Finn Balor is now a part of this faction. Whether or not he's the leader, we are not quite sure yet. But I tweeted this out on my personal account, and I really do feel this is the case. I haven't been that shocked from something that happened on a Monday Night Raw.
Oh.
Probably since I started watching wrestling. Like, did any of you guys see this coming?
No. And like I said, I was thinking it was going to be someone, either like another female, which I couldn't think of who, or Ciampa, but he already had that run in with Riddle, or Corbin, like I said, because I'm like, now what with this kid? Finn was someone that I think was on all of our minds always, but at this point in time, I definitely was not expecting him. Having him come out. Also, I guess I should have seen something was up when they were doing like I'd like to say that the new thing that they do on Raw, like Bobby Lashley addresses the WWE Universe, like having that in the corner. Like, I'm like, I like that.
That's cool.
But when they kept doing like, oh, the Judgment Day gets a new member in 59 minutes, I was like, don't spoil it for us. Like, I would like to just see somebody debut organically and like not have it be like, hey, everybody, like, here we come. So I was like, how are they going to do this? And then it's Finn. And I was like, okay, were they expecting him? Are they surprised by him? Like, is it him? And then like when it all went down with Edge, like you said, the guy who pinned him, AKA the guy who created the group, like, hello, he's the weak link. I don't know. But then like somebody said, like, is it him now to take the top face spot that Cody's gone? Do we want him as a top face on Raw? And also, is it just a ploy for him to sort of get AJ Styles into thinking like, oh, they turned on you. Like, yeah, I could trust you now. And like, I don't know. I don't know if I see that, because I don't know, but maybe. You have a lot of questions that you propose, and they're fair questions. And I like some of your takes there, because there's a lot to digest from this segment, Tuck. And Robbie even found a clip. We were talking about it on episode 93 about Finn Balor potentially joining. We just kind of jumped the gun a little bit. Here we go on Monday Night Raw this week. That happens. So
the question that I want to address is what Erica said. Is this them kind of just filling that void of Cody Rhodes, or do you think this was always the plan to eventually get Edge to the side?
Who else would be tough on Raw?
You know, this was another one of those segments where I went smart, right? Oh, Finn Balor comes out. Okay, smart. All right, sure. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, smart. And then he turns on Edge. Smart. Very great. Smart. Cool. Another one of those moments. But according to Fightful and Sean Rossap, the WWE creative was looking.
By the way,
I guess. Fightful Select on Patreon. According to that, as long as you give credit, WWE creative was looking to take Judgment Day in a more supernatural realm and area, and Edge wasn't down with that. Edge wanted it to be, you know, that the three humans here, we are laying judgment down on people.
What you see is what you get.
And now, so they're okay. Well, then you're out. We'll bring in a guy that is a demon sometimes. That makes more supernatural sense. So from that angle, it makes sense as well. I don't know if it was a scramble to find a face in lieu of Cody, but we do call that a plot hole where Edge pins Finn and then Finn kicks Edge out of his faction. And it seemed like it was a Rhea, Damian Priest, Finn Balor coercion as the way they talked, but it got to a point.
You're saying, correct?
I think Rhea was boosting. You know, her stock was rising. Damian Priest was earning credibility, and then what? You know, so I think that was a good move.
I'm happy for it only because I'm a Finn Balor guy. Sorry. I'm a Finn Balor guy, and I feel like he's so easily lost in the shuffle. And I agree with what Robbie said, is that heel Balor, especially now that he's kind of gotten his mojo, I feel like it took him going back to NXT to get that mojo back, because I never loved him more than him in NXT. That is the best Balor, and I like this. I was even like, oh, what's he going to Pele kick him? The way he did to Johnny. Right. But then he kind of turned anyway.
They snapped.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was just an awesome moment, and I don't know how people are even complaining about it. It's like a lot of people complain in general that Raw and WWE is too predictable. Then we get something that's not predictable that no one sees coming, but there's still a complaint there. I don't get it.
People, Kyle, fickle.
Yeah. Fickle, indeed, Erica. They are fickle, and I like Steve's idea here. Edge versus Finn at SummerSlam. Anyone? I quite look forward to seeing a purple.
Yeah, I like the purple. And Damian Priest had the purple thing. So, I mean, Rhea's wardrobe issues, like, it just tied in very well with this whole thing.
Should we just go purple then in honor of Judgment Day?
I don't think you could do it that fast.
I could do anything fast. Just actually, don't take that the wrong way. Yep. I knew that was going to turn heads right away. Said the wrong thing at the wrong time. So Vogus said, telling people when the person is joining the faction gets as many eyes as possible on the big moment, which I totally agree with. I think that's.
And then Steve said he agreed with me.
Yeah, felt exactly the same, Erica, when they had the countdown. I do enjoy the countdown, though, in general. Like, it kind of started with Cody, and now it's evolved into like, hey, we're just going to tell you what's coming up on Monday Night Raw.
I like that. I really do like that, because I think that's a way to, and I'm trying to think if like AEW does that. I don't know, but like, I like this, like coming up next, like later tonight. So if you're a big Bobby Lashley guy, you know he's going to be tuning in. You know you didn't miss them, because half the time I now get emails about what is on tap for like NXT and Raw,
really?
But I don't like. I hardly ever see them like on time. But so like having that on the screen, because you're like, what's happening on Raw tonight? And you're like, oh, it's going to be another match with Dominic Mysterio or whatever with Bobby Lashley. So I do like that, but I feel like maybe I should have seen that swerve coming. The fact that they did advertise the countdown. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, overall, though, it was a great segment. I thought a fantastic Monday Night Raw, which the last thing from Raw I wanted to touch on is that we did find out that Rhea Ripley, who won the main event, will now face Bianca Belair at Money in the Bank. So Judgment Day could potentially get their hands on a title, being the women's title this time. Does that mean we think there's a potential that Finn and Damian are going to go into a tag team kind of role? Or do we see them kind of going after the United States title? Because I don't really see them feuding with a Theory.
I liked the United States title on Finn. I think I was one of my rare tweets is when he walked out that next night with it on, and I was like, that belt looks very good on him. I like that, but then would they just be like a mid card and then like Rhea as?
But they can't go for the major one because Roman Reigns isn't there.
Yeah, which is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, we can dive into that some other time for sure. But talk Rhea versus Bianca. You can't get really many better women's matches at Money in the Bank.
You can't get really many better women's matches at Money in the Bank. I couldn't have said it better myself, Kyle. I'm looking forward to that one.
Erica, you excited?
Yeah, I saw Ryan say that the belts cover his abs.
Yeah.
I get it. But you know what? You know what, Bogus? When he goes up and he goes on the rope and he does that thing and you see his junk.
Oh, I thought he was talking about me.
One final thing.
I still have the belt. I'm still wearing it.
You should wear it up top like a tube top.
I got it. I'm on it. Let me just
get it over those pecs.
This guy can't decide what he wants to do with the belt. I would say act like you've been there before, but you probably haven't been there that often.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Gotcha. Got your ass. Robbie Collins said, was sad to see Alexa and Liv lose, but hope they go to a tag team.
And they will. And I called that too. I said, I guarantee they go to a tag team. I'm over Alexa Bliss. Let her go to like.
It is signed though. That's kind of fun. Mick Foley.
What autograph is that again? Mick Foley?
Mick Foley.
I like that.
Do I travel with this to StarCast and get somebody to sign it?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I'd say yes.
I want to travel.
You guys watch NXT this week?
Right. Okay,
Anybody? Anybody watch NXT?
No.
Yes, I did.
I thought it was a good episode of NXT, and obviously the one thing I wanted to bring up, we see another main roster person coming on down, Erica. It's Apollo Crews. What do you think?
And again, just like with Bobby Lashley, love that the crowd loved it. Yep. Brain. Yeah, I like it, and I think it's just I don't know.
I think what I noticed too is that he doesn't have that fake Nigerian accent.
It's like Kofi dropping the Jamaican accent.
Right. And he's not dressed like a Nigerian prince anymore.
Was it Triple H that said, wait, I thought you're from Jamaica? Or I forget. Whoever called
Aren't you supposed to be Jamaican?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the all-time.
I like it. And I saw him tweet or say something about like, oh, he's got gold in his sights. I don't see that. Not for Braun Breaker, but like I will always appreciate main roster guys going down and getting into these little things with the NXT kids.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely love that too, Robbie. Steve said Apollo comeback to NXT was booked perfectly from the comeback with Braun Breaker onto the win in the tag team main event. Yeah, we even got to see him participate there in the main event. And he just wants to get your opinions on one thing. This is Robbie Collins. Only me who thinks Gacy is the best speaker in NXT, ? Not me being a fanboy at all. I think he's one of the better ones. I know, Tuck, you're probably not watching as frequently, are you?
That's a bold-faced lie.
Okay. But what do you think about it?
I'm not watching as frequently as you, but I am watching more frequently than I was. And the best part about Joe Gacy is his ability to control a room. That fits his character well. I think he does a great job.
And I think since he started, and I kind of like got the feel for his whole vibe that he was just sort of like culty, blah blah blah, and I like it. And it's now obviously gone to like a darker place, but like right. I'm still into it. Yeah, I like it.
And we're going to find out, I believe, next week who the other two people are in his group as they have a tag team match.
With their hands like this, right?
Yeah. I was like,
sorry, I got an MDK stress ball in the mail.
Wow, look at that.
Nice.
The brain.
All fucking day, right?
I got so much MDK stuff in my last GCW Patreon.
Steve says Tony D'Angelo for him. Sorry, Robbie, but I'm a fan.
Listen, I could also, from where I'm from, I listen to Tony D'Angelo talk all day.
I don't like Tony D'Angelo. It's not good for me. It's not connecting with me.
The velour. You can wear velour.
No,
don't sell yourself short. You don't need a fedora. Fedoras are dumb.
I would never wear a fedora. I like these trucker hats. Tuck's the one that actually turned me onto this. He showed me this design, and then I'm like, I'm in. This is my look. So, Tuck, I would appreciate it if you took a look at the private chat because I'm having a very hard time making this decision. Erica has given me the feedback. You see the background right now on our StreamYard. It is the MVM title. Ryan Vogus is currently our most valuable mark of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. And if you don't know what that is, this is your first time listening or watching live, we give this to the person that's interacting and gives the most quality comments in the chat when we are live here every Thursday night at 7 p.m.
Also, I just want to say, Mikey Wilson, I am severely disappointed that you're not here because I was ready to go to war for you.
He's
MVM. I get it. Listen, when he comes, it's a treat. When he comes, it's a surprise.
Ew.
No.
That's what she said.
So Mikey Wilson is a big
quote card on social media. When he comes, it's a treat.
Out of context.
You could clip. That should be a Twitter account. OTM out of context. That could be its own Twitter account right there. But Mikey Wilson's a guy that has a lot of talk. And what I was going to basically say is what Bogus said. No. Wilson is a fraud.
Mikey Wilson for MVM.
He didn't say one comment.
I'm not talking about tonight.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'm not.
Well, Tucky didn't give me any feedback in the private chat, so I'm going to have to make an executive decision here.
I support this decision.
What about what I said?
I am taking your comments into consideration. I am, but and new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. Co-champions once again, Robbie Collins and Steve from the Wrestling
The boys
Channel.
are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
Fuck, isn't it the Yes Boys?
Yes Boys.
I think that's what they were calling themselves. So yeah, Steve and Robbie Collins.
In their promo on NXT in Your House, they had a high yes boy. I've got to go back and screen cap that one because that was phenomenal. Pretty deadly. Love them.
Say it. What do you mean? A high?
They were like, yes, boy. Like a really high pitched one. It was cute.
Nice. Send it to me. Bogus.
He's always salty when he does.
Did you think I was voting for you?
Always salty. And a hashtag yes boy from Robbie Collins in the comments. It was nice to be back live once again. We weren't live last week. We had a lot going on, but safe to say we will probably be live for a lot of episodes coming up here. A lot of fun things planned for the On the Mark Wrestling podcast. Erica, any final remarks from this fantastic week of professional wrestling?
Sure has been a fantastic week, and I don't want to rub it in, but I'm going to have a fantastic weekend
Let's hear it.
wrestling. I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to meet FTR. I'll be posting a picture on Twitter. Bret will be there. I'm going to try not to make a fool of myself. And it's about to be good shit. And I can't wait.
And you're going to get FTR on for episode 100, correct?
Yeah, I'm
really excited for that.
Here's my in. I told you, boys. My easiest in. I'm going to tell them we had a wrestling draft. You guys are my second pick. They're going to be like, cool, second pick. Why? Who was your first? I'm going to say Sasha. And they're going to be like this. This girl gets it. Like, hello.
Is there like a connection between them and Sasha? Like, what?
Yeah,
yes, they're best friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
can't wait. Do we have a 5-person layout on this StreamYard or? They'll be in one screen. Two guys, one screen.com.
Say yeah. It is indeed, Steve says. Together, Robbie and I are pretty deadly in the comments. I understood that. Yes, boy. Great show from Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Appreciate it. Looks like Robbie got his first clip out of context for OTM. And Steve, awesome show as always. Tucky, why don't you send us home?
God damn it. It was a great weekend, wasn't it? Oh, it's very satisfying. It's like you get home from that plane trip and you need to smoke a cigar because it was a great weekend. And Dynamite was great too. People forget Dynamite was a good show too. Very solid as well. It's another great time to be a wrestling fan. So next week we've got episode 99. Looking forward to that. We've got to let's see what happens over the next week. We've got SmackDown, Rampage, Raw again coming up. So Excited to hear about Erica's weekend next week as well on episode 99. Make sure you follow us all the way on all the socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, @Pod on the Mark. We'd love that. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't only just give us the thumbs up, but subscribe as well. We'd love more subscriptions.
We're at 124, guys, 124 subscribers.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Look at us.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
And we're on to something good. On to something good. Is that something?
It's tell me something
Show
good,
me.
but yeah.
Well, we tell them something good once a week, Thursdays, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. We will be back next week at Pod on the Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.